We're Hasani and Danielle Pettiford, and we're a real couple with real problems who almost called it quits.
I was very frustrated. I became very disconnected, very jaded and cold.
We have 4 children, going on 20 years of marriage, and we practice what we preach.
Our mission, to change the way couples relate to one another and teach them the skills needed to improve the quality of their relationships. This is the Couples Academy Show.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Couples Academy Show. My name is Hasani.
I am Miss Jewel.
And we're here today to continue in an amazing conversation we started yesterday on money and marriage, finances. You know, finances has been one of the challenges that many people have struggled with in their relationship, and we're going to hit this thing head on. So listen, if that's you, you're tuning into the right show. Make sure you bring your partner in, because this is a conversation that I know couples struggle about. I know they fight about. I know they are on, I don't know, they're not on one accord. There's discord. They're not in alignment. And so we're going to unpack some things today as a continuation from yesterday in preparation for this coming Saturday. And if you don't remember, it is the Money Mastery Masterclass. It's Saturday, September the 3rd, 2022 from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Class tuition is $197. It will be worth every single moment. We have some phenomenal financial advisors coming in, our personal advisors that have done a tremendous job with our finances, and we're comfortable enough to place them into your life to give you some guidance on what to do with yours. But before we get started, as you know, September is a busy month. This Saturday is this Saturday is the masterclass. The following weekend is what? It is the Unearthed retreat. So listen, if you haven't registered, make sure you do that. And the following week is our last chance weekend. For those of you, we've been getting many calls about the last chance weekend. We're excited about it. So what we're going to do is show you a quick capture of what that weekend's about, and then we'll dive into today's conversation. Stay right there. That's right, guys. It's not too late. Sign up for the last chance weekend. Is going to be amazing. Now let's dive into today's conversation. Jewel Smith, Miss Jewel, I wanted to bring you on because even in addition to you being one of the Couples Academy practitioners, you have years in banking.
Yes.
You've been working with folks, I'm sure, bringing them into your office in that bank, and they fussing and fighting and tussling and getting into little, back and forth. I want to do this with the money, but what about that? Who knows? I'm sure you've seen it all. What is some of the, just overall in your banking experience, what are some of the biggest challenges you see with couples when they're trying to figure out what to do with their finances?
I see the biggest challenge is their lack of communication as far as how the finances are going to go. Some people just assume that if you open an account and it's just one person, everything's just great. So our biggest problem would be couples that one spouse controls all the finances. And it might seem great in the beginning if you have someone that doesn't do well with finances, that doesn't do well with how they spend money, the problem comes when something happens to that other spouse.
Tell me more. What do you mean?
So basically, if your spouse gets in an accident, if your spouse for some reason cannot handle the finances, whether there was any type of trauma, if there was even death, if there's only one spouse taking care of the finances and that other spouse is has no parts in it, they're at a disadvantage. They have no clue how to manage money. They have no clue how to pay the bills. They have no access to their money whatsoever. So that really puts a relationship and a marriage in a really bad predicament at that point.
What a powerful point. Literally, Danielle and I were just talking about this yesterday about couples who don't have transparency and they are not on each other's accounts. And we've seen situations and heard about people's fears. One spouse is not doing well, they're sick, but there's just no transparency. They've got their own separate accounts, have no clue what's in those accounts, have no clue about paperwork. And when someone passes away, you're right. They don't have access to any of that. Maybe there were some relational issues, trust issues, just I'm independent, I'm gonna do me, you do you, and we live these separate lives. But you don't realize that you could be putting your partner in a huge financial situation just by not allowing them to have access. And then that money, I guess, goes to probate, and then they eat up everything because they're going to get their money. It just reminds me of so many celebrities, which I don't understand, like Prince, Aretha Franklin, the list goes on and on. They didn't even have a will. And so the estate was then taken over by probate, and then the family gets pennies on the dollar. I just don't understand it, Joel.
Well, I think a lot of people still just assume they have time. I have time to take care of this. I have time to take care of that. But if you think before our time, when you were married, that meant something. You would be able to go in and say, well, I'm their wife or I'm their husband. And because you were their spouse, you were privy to certain information. Well, that's not how it is anymore. Everything is just literally black and white. If your name is not on there, it doesn't matter whether or not you're their spouse. There's nothing we can do.
Wow. I hope people are hearing that, because I guarantee you there are couples watching right now, and that's their very situation. There is zero financial transparency. There is zero partnership or alignment in the area of their money. They don't mind giving up their body, but don't ask me about my bank account. That ain't happening. And it's a huge divide. And it's not about now, it's about later. But even if we talk about now, right, that kind of leads us into one of our first points. So many couples, like many people want to be power couples, right? They look at Jay-Z and Beyonce. They look at all these power couples out there. We want to be like that. But there's so many power struggles in their relationship that prevent them from being a power couple. And they engage in what we call these power plays, where one partner is trying to one up the other partner. And I don't understand why there would be any competition between two people who have given their lives to each other, given vows, and have determined that we're going to spend the rest of our life together in this journey. But yet and still, I'm going to do me and you are going to do you. It goes back to that Dutch life. But when it comes to these power plays, here are a few scenarios. I wrote these down. One partner has a paid job and the other doesn't. Both partners would like to be working, but one is unemployed. One spouse earns considerably more than the other. Or one partner comes from a family that has money and the other doesn't, right? So those are the relational dynamic, or the financial dynamics in their relationship. And so as a result, power plays take place. To your point, one wants to control the money. One wants to tell the other spouse what we're going to do with the money. Because guess what? That's my job. I make most of the money, so I should be making most of the financial decisions. Or I'm the one who manages the money. I know more than you, so I'm going to make the financial decisions. And it becomes this tug of war. And because I don't like the way you manage money, I'm going to keep my own, you keep your own. I'm going to handle my bills, you handle your bills. I'm going to use my credit card however I want to use my credit card, and I'm going to do my debt however I want to do my debt. And what you do with you is you. But we don't realize that how we individually, independently handle our finances and our credit and our debt impacts our spouse, because they inherit the very mistakes that we make. They feel the burden of that. Is that right, Drew?
Right, exactly. And it sets the stage for division. You know, if you're already coming in with, this is mine, this is yours, you're already dividing your marriage, your relationship, and all the important things. If you're dividing your finances, what else are you dividing?
Very true. Very true. And there could be no division, because when you're divided financially, it keeps you from accomplishing basic goals, making basic decisions for your financial future. It's just insane. Like, literally, I see in relationships where some spouses, like one spouse pays for everything. They pay all the bills. They pay for all the childcare needs. They pay for all the vacations. Every time they go out to eat, they're paying for it. And the other one, that's my money. Right? They tuck their money away. They got their secret bank accounts. They're going to do what they want to do. And it's just like, how are we in this place? Like, what's yours, it's mine. What's mine is yours. It is ours, because we are the team of we, and that extends into the finances. And so if you find yourself kind of in a power struggle with your spouse as it relates to the money, it's worthy of a counseling session. Don't you know that there's financial counseling for couples to get them in alignment? That's what we did. We found a financial advisor who we went to for counseling. And here's the deal. We were struggling with it, and we got a recommendation, and somebody was willing to, point us in the right direction. And we did financial counseling in their home. And so I remember driving through this nice neighborhood, like, oh my God, this is so nice. And we walk into their home. We're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then they're digging into our finances and giving us advice. And it was deep, because, one of the things that we believe in, rule number one, right? Who do you listen to? You listen to people who have what you want. And so he represented what we ultimately wanted, and we realized how we were getting in our own way. And so just the setting and the presence of where we did these sessions was enough to turn us around, because we thought that, the vision that we both have is the same, but we getting caught up in methodology, and that's the problem. We're married to our methods and not the goal, and that's why we don't get what we need to get.
But if this is already set up, now I can understand if you've already had a conversation and you guys made this decision that this person will pay for all of this, A, B, C, and D, the expenses, the vacations, the kids' schooling, whatever. That's fine. If it was a decision that was made between the two of you. If it's a decision that's made so that you can control things, then yes, that's where a problem definitely comes in at.
Absolutely. We got some comments. Gonzalez says, when you divide your finances, you divide your friends and other things, you divide your marriage. Marriage is not division, it's unity. One. Facts. That is facts. Thank you for that. Tamika says, it really doesn't make sense. You live in the same house, eat out of the same refrigerator, use the same bathroom, and sleep in the same bed, but have separate bills. That's a very good point. Very, very, very good point. Patricia says, the two shall become one. Become one in marriage. That is the power of oneness. And so if the Bible is clear about oneness, that means oneness in all areas of your life, including finances. All right, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to go to a quick commercial break and come back with the other points. I hope you're enjoying this show. This episode is all about you, your marriage, and your money. Stay tuned. We'll be right back in just a sec.
Couples Academy is committed to serving couples around the world by reaching beyond cultural lines and language barriers. We are proud to announce that we now serve the Spanish-speaking community. So whether you're here in the United States or abroad, Couples Academy has a place for you.
Couples Academy se compromete a servir parejas de todo el mundo, superando las fronteras culturales y las barreras del idioma. Ahora, estamos orgullosos de anunciar que servimos a la comunidad de habla hispana. Entonces, Ya sea que estés aquí en los Estados Unidos o en el extranjero, Couples Academy está aquí para servirle.
Hey guys, we're back. You're watching the Couples Academy show. My name is Hasani. This is Miss Jewel. We are here talking about money and marriage. Now listen, don't forget this Saturday, the Money Mastery Masterclass, tuition $197. It's like the price of a session. Many of you clients who know when you do individual sessions, it's about that cost. Now you're going to get 4 hours of power on this coming Saturday. And I know it's Labor Day weekend. And
Yes,
so
and
this is a holiday? Come
I'm
on.
doing up a family reunion to be there.
Bump that family reunion. You need to be in the building.
I will be in the house.
To get your finances straight. So listen, we're excited about that. So make sure you register. The link is in the description. So feel free to do that. We have a couple comments. We're going to jump here. When one person, let me put my glasses on. When one person violates the agreements made over and over again, it breaks trust. As a stay-at-home parent and saver, that's scary. Lakeisha made reference to this yesterday, being left saddled with debt or financial obligations. Speak to that, Joel. That's a powerful point.
You know, Denise, one of the things is I know it gets monotonous and you feel like, oh my goodness, we have to keep having this conversation. But it is important to continue having that conversation about the finances. You know, if you guys decided, you know, that you're going to be the stay-at-home person and you are the savers, you know, you and your husband have to really sit down and break down the guidelines as far as what is that going to look like? What does that look, you know, does he know what it takes to run your household? Just because he makes the money, 9 times out of 10, we're the ones who see in the bills. You know, so I'm going to use myself for example. You know, even though my husband makes more money than I do, you know, I am paying the bills. And, you know, when we get to spending, I don't think they realize what it all entails. It's not just the rent or the mortgage. It's not just what the kids need. You have the bills. You have, you know, all these other things, these miscellaneous things that add up. And then you have to really sit down and explain to them how important it is for you guys to save for your future. You know, set some goals, set some boundaries as far as, all right, so even if that is giving each other an allowance, this is how much you can spend, but you guys have to be on the same page as far as what that amount is. Hasani, earlier you were talking about, when we were talking, the relational code of ethics. Well, there's also a financial code of ethics. You
Very
have
true.
to have that code, and both of y'all have to be on the same page, because you're trying to save for your future. You're trying, your children are going to grow up and move out the house, and you're going to need something, to live. You're going to need something to look forward to. And if you guys do not set up the boundaries and have that code of ethics, then you're going to run into, a struggle.
Yeah. Let me add to what you're saying, because you're referencing being home, right? And how Gonzalez makes more money, or in Denise's case, she's a stay-at-home mom. Literally, I just had a session with a couple, same exact thing. The husband is out working, earning the money. The wife is home with the children. And I think
That's a job in itself.
We should do some research, because we've talked about this before, right? Think about all the roles that a stay-at-home parent, all the roles that they fulfill, all the hats that they're wearing, and put a dollar amount to that particular role or function.
It's a full-time job.
It's a full-time job. And quite honestly, throughout our marriage, there have been times when Danielle was working and I was home with the kids, and then I was working and she was home with the kids. And let me tell you, I'd rather be out working because it's a lot of work. And unless you've sat in that seat, been in those shoes, and walked that walk, you do not know. You're probably underestimating, or if that's the right word, not giving enough credence and value to what they actually do. And so think about it. They're a cook, they clean, they're the teacher, they provide the child care, they're the chauffeur. There's so many things that they're doing that if you put a dollar amount to it, you'd be like, oh my God, I didn't realize this is how much I was saving by having my wife or having my husband in this particular position. So I think the focus is only on the person who's generating it and not the person who's helping to save it. And both are critically important. And when you have a conversation like that, you have more, in essence, influence, power, decision-making ability, because they begin to see you in a completely different light. I think it's important to have that.
And for the spouse that's doing the spending, you ask them, what are your goals? What is it that you want to see financially? And let them tell you, and then show them where it's not going to happen if you continue doing a certain thing, if you continue spending a certain way. Sometimes they have to see it to believe it. Oh, no, we good. No, we good. No, we good. You have to show them, okay, well, look of all this money that we spent, or you spent, that we could have been saving.
Absolutely. Here's another comment. Man, this is really good. My husband and I have worked through a lot of our issues. It has come down to the money. Simply put, he doesn't trust me with it. How can I build trust again? So like anything, trust is built over a period of time. Maybe there has been a violation. Maybe there's been some financial infidelity, some secrecy around finances, or maybe there hasn't, but I just don't trust your decision-making power. Like, you're the spender, I'm the saver, or maybe I'm having issues with what you're spending money on because I think it should go somewhere else. This is so a system of accountability helps to restore trust. Well, what's the system of accountability? A budget, right? A budget.
The B word no one likes.
Exactly. And
B word?
You know what, Joe? I don't know in your years of banking how many people have been honest, but if you were to gauge how many people actually literally live according to a budget, what percentage of families or couples that you've worked with have?
Less than half. I would say less than 50% people live within a budget.
50%.
Less than 50% of people live within a budget. They just assume, it's the miscellaneous things that people don't think about that really impact them financially. It's not the big things, it's the small things that is really impactful. When I say the small things, I'm talking about, the $5 drinks at Starbucks 3 times a day, the nails that's going to cost you about $100, between the manicure and the pedicure, the sneakers, those are the type of things that you don't think about. You think just because your bills are paid, you're good. But it's those small things that add up that really impact you financially.
Now, I just want to take a peek inside of the world of women. How much are these weaves and these
Why are
wigs?
you in our business now, Hasani?
Wait a minute now. We need transparency on the Couples Academy show. How much are these women paying for these weaves?
Well, now, I've never had a weave, but I know people that will have spent probably at least a good $200-$300 for a weave. It depends on the type of hair that they're using and whether or not it's a sew-in or if it's glued in. There's different types, but it's expensive.
$200 to $300
plus some.
For and how long do you keep that weave on your head?
It depends on the type of hair it is, whether it's synthetic or human.
Good God from Zion.
You can, depending on what they're doing as well, but we're not going to go there, Hasani, because look at what men spend.
Wait a minute. Denise said $200 to $500 for hair, nails $50, lashes. Wait a minute. I don't want to hear no more excuses from nobody about nothing concerning money. I'm gonna look at you. I'm gonna see how good your hair is. I'm gonna be looking at your hands. When I hear people talk about women, we got financial situations. I'm gonna be looking at all those signs. See, you just exposed. Thank you for bringing me in and bringing the world in to where the finances are going. Now, men are no different. Men have, right? They pay for their sneakers $200-$300. They have their gambling habits. iPhone gadgets, technology that costs hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Yeah, Carlene says it's expensive to be a woman. That's true.
But to be on a serious note, and that's one of the things that I really zone in on when I'm talking to someone when I'm at work, especially when they're struggling financially. What are you willing to sacrifice to get your finances in order? And sometimes those are the things that they're not willing to sacrifice, but those are the things that you can find the most money in. It is a hurt piece sometimes. Yes, we feel as though we're home. We should be able to look our best and feel our best, which is true. But when it comes to financials and whether are you going to look good and have people calling you to collect? Are you going to look good knowing that you're struggling financially? Are you going to look good having to borrow money from someone else? When, some of these things you can control yourself by just not doing certain things for just a little while. Make those sacrifices in the present so that you can have things in the future.
Wow. That's a great point. You look good, but your marriage looks ugly. And it's not just about the women, because the men, to your point, we put our money where our heart is, if you think about it, right? We make a lot of emotional decisions with our money, certain things that we've got to have. I got to have that. And it's interesting how, and I'm not talking about anybody here, but we put more value in things that make us feel good than things that will make us be good, like over time. Like when people struggle with, well, I was going to go on this vacation. I got to do this intensive. If you want, listen, go on the vacation and have a great time. Or to be honest, maybe you won't, because you're going to bring your problems with you on that vacation. So if you're quiet home, you're going to be quiet on that boat. Right? If you're arguing here, you're going to be arguing on the island. So what is the vacation doing for you? But when you take that same money, invest it in your marriage, invest it in your future, it will produce a return, right, on your investment. There are dividends that you can get from that investment. And so really, to your point, it's about making decisions that make sense. Now, we deserve to look good. We deserve to have the technology, the nice sneakers. We deserve all those things because you work hard. But it's all about putting things in a budget and knowing that you don't have to have everything now, right? And I think that's the problem. The way that we value time is often different. Some people need to have it right now because who knows what tomorrow will be. Yeah. And it oftentimes doesn't serve us. There's a lot of questions coming through. Angel says, how do I support my husband when he struggles because he can't contribute much financially due to most of his money going to child support? We are a team and he contributes so much in all other areas. So it is not an issue with me at all, but he still struggles, even though we have talked about it not being an issue several times. This is a challenge. I want to acknowledge that question. We're going to pick up on that tomorrow because we're at the end of our session today. I hope this was helpful. Sis, we're going to pick up with that first thing tomorrow. You've been watching the Couples Academy show. I hope you're getting some information out of this about your finances. It's worthy to sit down and have a conversation with your spouse so you can go a little bit deeper to get into financial alignment. And if you are not, I highly recommend click the link in the video description. Sign up for the Money Mastery Masterclass. It's going to be amazing. Be in the building. Change your financial situation as you go into 2023. Love you guys. See you in the morning. Take care.